everyone. This is day 2 of the Nehemiah fast. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Akeelia Thompson. So, welcome to our purpose seekers and creativepreneurs. And I trust that you're having a ball just going through the scriptures, staying connected with us here on YouTube at Akeelia Thompson. So that is Akeelia Thompson on YouTube, as well as on our other social media platforms, Sold Into Purpose, and that is SOULED into Purpose on Instagram and Facebook. So today, I just want to spend just a couple minutes with you, and the theme that we're looking on today is laying the foundation. Welcome, this is the builder's journey. We're looking at Nehemiah, and for those who don't know who that is, he is a wonderful man of God in the book, and he heard about an incident. The walls of Jerusalem were down, and he was really saddened by that, and he prayed to the Lord, asked for favor, went to the king because he was a cupbearer. He made a request to the king, who granted him the resources and everything else that he needed to rebuild the wall. And so throughout that journey, we're sort of breaking down that process, what it meant back then as we relate to the story, but more importantly, what it means to us in today, 2025, for this year, as we look towards achieving our goals and just establishing the vision that God has for us, tapping into that. How can we tap into our business strategy and overall just yield a more successful year? So that is the genesis on which we're doing this, because God has downloaded some strategies to me, and I wish to share them with you as we explore the scriptures. And for this period, do the fasting, inquiring of the Lord what He would have us do for this year, and establishing our foundation. I mean, Christ is my solid rock, He is my foundation, and I trust that that is the same for you. Yesterday, we looked at the 7 characteristics of a good builder. For those who are here, can you tell me what those are in the chat? So, for those who are just joining us, let me just run through them quickly. We said that a builder is one who has a vision, has a blueprint, must know where he or she is going. That person, number 2, should take that vision to God, because we plan, but the Lord ultimately orders our footstep. Then we're looking at a builder, one who is trustworthy and faithful to the cause. So we're starting out on the journey. We must complete it. We want to get to our destination. Amen. Then we're moving on to a builder having wisdom. And we also noted that for those who lack wisdom in this season, we can go to the Lord, who is gracious and kind, to give to us without fault. We also said that a builder is one who is focused, not easily intimidated or distracted from the task at hand, because trials, tribulations, intimidation will come, but we have to stand tall, just as Nehemiah did, to complete the wall. Then we're looking at number 6, a builder must be skillful. What are we doing this year to improve our skills and capabilities to achieve all that God has called us to do? And number 7, a builder must finish well. So we want to do the work, and we also want to finish well. Today, we're looking at laying the foundation, and the foundation is a critical part of the wall, because we also looked at the tenets of what it takes to build the wall. So first, we have to mark the territory. We have to clear away everything that has nothing to do with it, so that we can assess the soil, see what we're working with, and ultimately we're going to lay our foundation. So today we're laying those bricks, digging up the ground, setting out the stuff, putting in the steel and everything else that we need in the ground to ensure that we are anchored in. We're standing on the solid rock this day. So the foundation is a critical part of building the wall, because it provides stability and it ultimately gives the overall structure support. Why are we laying the foundation? We want to ensure that the weight is distributed evenly. So when we're building a wall, a foundation's primary purpose is to distribute the weight of the structure, because we want to do that across the ground. We don't want any uneven settlement. This prevents cracks and damages that will occur over time. So the primary purpose of laying that foundation is, 1, we want to distribute the weight evenly. Then we want to protect the wall and from natural disasters. So a foundation protects a building from natural disasters like earthquakes and floods. It also protects the building from water infiltration by draining moisture away. We're also building or laying that foundation because we want to withstand the weather. So the wall is something we don't want it to crumble easily, and we know that wear and tear will come with different natural disasters and just everyday natural cycles, okay? So a foundation should be strong enough to withstand the weather, like storms and heavy rains and harsh winds. And it also is synonymous to the storms of life. We want to ensure that whatever we're building can withstand whatever challenges we will encounter along the journey. We also want to build or lay a sturdy foundation because it will help us to resist other loads. So, foundation must also resist other loads on the building, such as wind and earthquake. And we also want to build the wall because we want durability. Whatever we're doing in this season, we want to ensure that it lasts. It could be our building, it could be the things that we're tapping into to develop our purpose. We want to ensure that it will last. So, for durability, a foundation is the first part of construction that is important for the durability of the building. It's not just, if it's not built correctly, I should say, the building's strength and resilience can be affected. So even though we would have noted before that one of the characteristics is that the builder must be faithful, we are also looking at the structure of the wall, the building, whatever we're developing. We want to ensure that the foundation is set so that it will have the level of strength and resilience to go forward. And something that is critical to the foundation is that whenever we're establishing this foundation, there are some key things that we need, such as the material. Like if you're baking, it could be the ingredients, or if you're cooking, it can be the ingredients. If you're establishing your business, what are the key things that we need to do? And that is why we stated in the first segment that we must be wise because we need to know what to ask for. Nehemiah, in his instance, he went to the king and he asked for the king to write a letter to the overseer of the forest so that he could get timber to build the wall. Then he also asked the king again, can I get security for safe passage as I travel through the nations to get to Jerusalem? So it's important for us to know that as we're building that foundation, what is required to build that sturdy foundation? Have you done the research to find out what are the systems, the structures, what are the costs? So I want to do an upcoming project. And I spent some time yesterday just going through what are the different resources, what are the softwares, looking at the potential costs, creating the budgets, everything that I need to execute that project properly, right? We need to know what we have on hand because possibly you may have some materials on hand, but you also need to know what do we need to get in order for us to build this wall. It is also important for us to know these things because as we go through the process, we're going to seek the help of other persons because no man is an island, no man stands alone. And so when your destiny helpers show up, you must know what you need to tell them. And that is why creating that vision is important. We're not going with the ebbs and flows. We must know in the blueprint, this is where I'm going, this is what it looks like. But also, what does it take for you and I to implement those systems and implement those structures? It must take something and it also comes at a cost. So in our Bible, this is the word of the living God in Luke 14, verse 28 and 30. This is the New International Version. It says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. This is verse 28. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? Verse 29 says to us, for if you lay the foundation and you're not able to finish it, everyone will ridicule you. And verse 30 says to us, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. So for those who are in the Caribbean and maybe in other areas, oftentimes, and of course this is their business, but I'm just using this as a reference, oftentimes we might see persons clear the land, and they're raising up this 10-story building and home. And of course, possibly that is their dream, but more often than not, they might complete the first floor, and then over time, you realize this construction. It stopped. What happened? Like, are they going to complete it, or they may complete it, or it might take them 10 years to go to the next level? And sometimes you are looking on what's happening and you're saying, why didn't they just, build this floor first and take it step by step? Build it, complete it, furnish it, do all of that. And then as time goes by, as you need the space, you'll take your time to continue that development. So it requires a lot of money, it requires a lot of resources, and we don't know what the rationale is for the incomplete structure. But I'm sure we've seen a lot of these buildings as we go across the island, and you're like, wow, we started that structure and you weren't able to complete it. So we need to count the cost. What does it take for me to do this? It says, suppose you want to build a tower. Won't you first sit down, estimate the cost, see everything that you need in order for you to carry out this vision? And sometimes we have the ideas, we start moving, but because we did not take the time to create that blueprint, do the research, then what we find is that we've started out to achieve that particular vision, but we'll fall short in the middle because we have not looked at the resources, we have not looked at whatever legal restrictions or legislation that will prevent us or bring us to a point, and then we have to abort that particular plan. So it's important for us to, as best as we possibly can, do our due diligence to ensure that we do it. And remember, we also said that a characteristic of a good builder is that he or she finishes well. So we don't want to start it, waste the resources and everything that possibly we would have made as an investment, and also resources that others would have invested in us, because that would overall be a waste, right? And time is of the essence. It's the only thing that we cannot get back in this lifetime. So let us do that proper assessment so that one, we can lay a sturdy foundation in our plans, in our hopes, in our visions, in our dreams, and also, assess it properly, because even the Bible tells us, and this is not something that I am making up, the Bible, the word of the living God, it says to us that if you start to lay the foundation and you're unable to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Remember, first part, the seventh characteristic of a good builder is that a builder finishes well. Then we're looking at 1 Corinthians 3, verse 10 to 15. And this ultimately captures everything as to why it is that we need to lay the foundation. We're laying the foundation. Why is it important for us to lay a good foundation? Let's take a listen. So we're reading from chapter 3, verse 10 through to 15. That's the New International Version, and it says, by the grace that God has given me, I laid a foundation as a wise builder. Let me go again. By the grace God has given me, I laid a foundation as a wise builder, and someone else is building on it. So we're laying the foundation for ourselves now, because the generations that will come after us, your children and your children's children, will have something to stand on. We want to ensure that whatever we're doing now, it's profitable. It is something that will transcend the respective seasons and cycles that we will go through in life. So don't just do something selfishly now for yourself. So we might lay a reasonable foundation now because we want it to benefit us. But let us think about those who are coming after us. Let us lay a foundation. The Bible also tells us that a good father leaves an inheritance for his children. So whatever we're doing, the business, seeking or fulfilling our purpose, writing those books, going after the dreams and aspirations that we have, and whatever God has laid on your heart in this season, in this time, at the beginning of this new year, let us lay a good foundation that covers us and also those who will come after us. And it says, but each one should build with care. So we're building and laying that foundation with care, for no one can lay any foundation other than the one that is laid, which is in Jesus Christ. If anyone builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, their work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. So it's not only important for us to lay that foundation, because sometimes you may hire somebody. For those who are homeowners, we know how it goes. You hire someone to construct the building for you, but after you move in, it starts coming to light. There is revelation, because the light is there to reveal everything that is hidden. I feel somebody should say amen. The light is there to reveal everything that is hidden. When you move into that house, that is when you realize that there is more coming up on the walls start to flake, the things start to shake. Maybe you experience a tremor in your area, things just collapse, the walls crack. That is when the foundation begins to show. So maybe we can put it in the earth because we believe that it's below. We're not seeing it physically, but trust me, when the storms of life come, when the situation come, when the challenges come, and they come up against the business and the plans and everything else, it will begin to show. Might not be evident once you cover it up and you put the mortar and everything over it, but eventually, once the weather, the rain, the wind, everything else, remember the reason why we need a good foundation, it will eventually show. And the Bible says to us, if anyone builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, their work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each person's work. If what has been built survives, the builder will receive a reward. However, if it is burned up, the builder will suffer loss, but yet will be saved, even though only as one escaping through the flames. So it will be tested by fire. Whatever we're building in this season will be tested by fire. Whatever you're building now in the month of January 2025, it will be tested later on in the year. If you lay the foundation good and you put in the things, be it gold, straw, whatever else you're using to build the house. We know the story of the three little pigs, and if you don't know it, it's a good little story or tale. So go and read up on it. The story of the three little pigs. We saw the structures and what happened when the wolf came, but we're not going to give that away right here, okay? So the light will reveal what is on that particular foundation. Not only will the light reveal it, but the fire will come to test it. So the things will come to test it. The people will come to test what you're building. And if you have not laid that foundation, if you have not transformed your mindset, if you have not done the research to ensure that what you're doing is in keeping with legal grounds, if you have not done that SWOT analysis to assess your strengths, your threats, their opportunities, right? If you have not done that, then it's eventually going to show. Not only will the light reveal it, but the fire will test it. And if it is a good foundation, then it will withstand the fire, and the builder will get a reward. So if you have laid it up, you will see the evidence in your bank account. You will see the evidence in the connections that you have. You will see the evidence in the transformation that you will see in your life, because you're now moving from one stage to the next. You would have spent time reading the word, growing in your relationship with God, or possibly you would have gone ahead, got the certification that you need. And we spoke about this in the first segment. The things that you need to upgrade yourself, and so it increases those who you are connected to. It increases the type of contracts that you will get. It also speaks to the level of elevation that you will see in your business, because as you acquire the knowledge, you will grow and your business will grow likewise. And eventually it will show. However, if the foundation was not good, then what we are ultimately going to have is at the end of 2025, we're going to say, boy, this year wasn't good. This year wasn't good to us. May try everything and it never worked out. But did you really? Did you spend the time now to set that foundation so that we can see at the end of this particular period what the results are? It says if you lay the foundation good, the builder who lays his foundation good, once the light hits it, once it goes through the storms, once the fire hits it, then we will see the quality of the work. And if it is built good, the builder will survive and he will get a reward. However, if it's not built good, then the builder, the building, and everything else, the builder is going to escape by the skin of his teeth. He will escape the fire. But of course, the building will be destroyed because you're going to suffer loss. You're not going to see the results that you're looking for. You're going to waste your resources. You're going to waste the resources that have been invested into you. Imagine if Nehemiah did not do his research and put his vision before God, and he goes to the king and say, "Oh, king, write the letter." He got the letter. The king gave him wrote the letter to the person who was managing the forest. He got the timber, but he was not skillful, he was not wise, and he wasted the resources. Do you really think that he could have gone back to the king to get more resources again? For the persons who are going to come in contact with you, possibly you're having a situation and you explain that situation to somebody, but you don't know that possibly that person on that particular day is your destiny helper, and you explain everything to them and they're like, "Okay, I've heard you, I'm sorry that you're going through that, how can I help you?" But you don't have any vision to share with them. You're just crying about the problem. There's no solution. There's nothing on your mind that you can share, even if it's not on paper, just something to give them an essence as to where you are at now and where you want to be, and promise them that by the end of the day or early tomorrow, you're going to get back to them with a written document that speaks to everything. And while you're generating that, of course, you're going to pray about it and, leave it and to see if God will give you room to make any edits or changes, or maybe He'll give you divine inspiration about what that plan is, and then you can craft it and submit it to that individual. But once that person comes and they're like, "Okay, we're going to invest $500,000 into this project and to see where it goes. If it goes well, and you yield a profit after the efforts, then we're going to give you $1 million more, a part of that, level of investment. But we have to see what you do with it." And that is why when the king returned to the servant who he gave 1 talent, he said, "Why did you not invest it in something? At least I could have gotten a return on my fixed deposit." Everyone else, they multiplied those talents, and with that, they were able to govern nations. He said, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and it also speaks to our life in Christ. Once we do a good work at the end of this journey, there is a reward that is laid up for us. He said to us that, "I've gone to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I would not have told you." So we know that He's coming back with a reward, but if we're not in keeping with His precepts and His principles, then we know that the fire awaits us. So as we're laying that foundation in our spiritual lives, in our daily lives, in our businesses, in unlocking our purpose, are we laying a good foundation? Where you're at now, it's never too late to stop and to rebuild. Let's regroup and rebuild. Let's lay a new foundation. Are you on the right path? The foundation that you're currently standing on now, is it shaky? Is it sturdy? Is it made of straw? Is it made of gold, silver, or any other expensive material? Is it made of timber? What are you building your world on? What are you building your life on? What are you leaving behind? Can the foundation that you have now, can it stand the test of time? Do we need to go back and add some additional stuff? Is it good enough? Does it need touching up? Where are you now? What assessment have you made? Have you looked at your weaknesses, your strengths, your weaknesses, your threats, and your opportunities? Can you take a day and do a SWOT analysis? I know that we're busy. I know that life is happening around us, but can we slow down, take a minute, and to see what we need to do to change it? Nothing will change unless we change. And so if we continue to use the same ideologies, the same strategies and systems, we cannot expect a different result. So my charge for you today, not staying with you long, but just giving you some quality gems. So I gave you 2 scriptures. We looked at 1 Corinthians 3, verse 10 through to 15. And then we also looked at Luke 14, verse 28 to 30. Are you building that foundation, but you're not counting the cost? What does it take for you to move to another dimension? What is the cost of the materials and the level of investment that you will need to take this thing off the ground? We're also looking at 1 Corinthians 3, verse 10 through to 15. It says that you can build that foundation. You can select the materials that you need to build the foundation, but there is going to come a day when the light will reveal the quality of the work that you've put in, the quality of the work that you've put in to achieve your goals and the vision that you have overall. And it will be tested by fire. So you're going to go through, many of us, the most common thing in business and life, financial, restraints. We also have the challenge of not having the right people connected to us. And we're going to touch on that tomorrow. Who are you building with? That's a topic for tomorrow. So you can let somebody know. Who will let somebody know that we're going through all the way down to Friday? So look at those characteristics that we shared earlier. Do you have those characteristics? And the foundation that you're building today, is it a solid foundation? And that's where we're going to end it for today. Where we're going to end it for today. Are you building on a good foundation? Are you laying a good foundation? Laying out the foundation. The foundation is critical in establishing that wall, the building, establishing your life. Who or what are you building that foundation on today? What are the materials that you're putting in that foundation? Have you counted the cost? What does it take for you to lay a good foundation? And, I'm just going to close out. We're standing on the solid rock. This is Minister Judy K. We're standing on the solid rock. I'll see you tomorrow. Until next time, we're meeting here, same time, same place on YouTube. 6 p.m. on LinkedIn, 6 p.m. Facebook, 6 p.m. And your wonderful host, Akeelia Thompson. As always, it is a privilege to share time and space with you. We're laying the foundation. See you soon.